In the previous video I mentioned that every text serves a social function, and that for language learners to communicate successfully, they need to become familiar with a range of different registers. And registers are defined by field, tenor, and mode. Let's take a look at a particular example. This is an argument text, and you'll see that actually it's a letter, but the function of this text is to argue a point. Let's see if we can identify the field, tenor, and mode of this text. The field is the subject matter. So, in other words, what are they talking about in this particular piece of discourse? Well, if we scroll down a little bit, in the very first sentence you can see that the writer is saying, "I'm writing to express my disgust at the way animals are being treated in laboratories all over the world." So we can we can state that the field of this text is animal cruelty, or the way animals are treated in laboratories. By the way, this is page 25 of the Blue Book. So the field, or the subject matter, is the treatment of animals. The tenor it means who is involved in this communication and what is their relationship. Since this is a letter, we can identify who the participants are. So the recipient, or the reader, is Glenn Hardcase, Member of Parliament. And the writer is Penny Maloney, a member of the public. Looking at this letter, we can, even without picking out any specific language features, we know that this is a formal letter. So this implies that there is some social distance between the writer and the reader of the letter. For example, the letter begins with the greeting, "Dear Mr. Hardcase." Now, if Glenn Hardcase and Penny Maloney were close friends, I'm sure that the letter would begin something like, "Hi, Glenn," rather than "Dear Mr. Hardcase." This is very formal, and it tells us that there is a lack of familiarity or a social distance between the two people, just as the closing is "yours sincerely." So this is really what we're talking about when we mention tenor. Who is involved in this communication? What is the relationship? What is their level of familiarity with each other? And the mode is whether the communication is spoken or written. In this case, it's written. So what that means is that the communication happens not in real time, because the writer first writes the letter and there's some time which is elapsed before the reader can actually read the message. So because it's written, the communication occurs not in real time and not in real space, because the writer and the reader are not sitting in the same room. So in the next video, I'm going to point out some language features connected with field, tenor, and mode, and compare it with another text type.